Welcome to the life you crave. Simple and sustainable weight loss for women who have better things to do than diet. I'm your host, Leah Pinelli. I help ambitious, badass women stop overeating, overworking, and overgiving to lose weight from a place of love. I'll help you simplify weight loss, end your overwhelm, and create the life you crave. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to this podcast. Let's get started.
Well, hello, y'all. Okay, question for you. Have you signed up yet for the Life You Crave Social Club and Masterclass? You guys, it's so much fun. You totally have to join this if you haven't signed up already. It is a totally free social club and masterclass. We had our kickoff in November, and now it is running strong every month. So this coming month, the month of December, I'm recording this December 2023, we are doing a visioning for 2024. Who wants to miss that? Nobody. So go and sign up over at leahpinelli.com/TLYC social. Okay, that's it. That's my plug for that. I'm going to keep going back to it because it's so much fun. So you guys, you know what happened today that I want to record about today is I just now got to have my first Stop Overeating Masterclass series, the first of this particular round. And I got to meet my new peeps and my new members. And of course, they're amazing and wonderful and inspiring, badass women. But what I really thought about, wow, this experience is so different than what people probably expect from a Stop Overeating Masterclass. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually record the podcast today and take you through what exactly do we do, right? Because you already know, if you're listening to my podcast, you already know that I approach food and weight very differently. I actually hate being called a weight loss coach, even though, yes, that is my superpower. I do help people who are identified as female to lose or drop unwanted weight. But the thing is, I don't really care about that. No, I always say that. It's over. I do care about it. Right? I cared about my extra weight. I care about yours too if you don't love it. But really, it's about the eating behaviors that have resulted in the additional weight or the extra weight, as I call it, to begin with. For me, in my weight loss journey, so many years ago now, that was the thing that really got to me the most. It wasn't necessarily the extra weight I was carrying, but rather I was hungry all the time, and I could eat as much as my 6'7" husband, ex-hockey goalie husband, right? Like I should not have been able to eat as much food as I was able to eat. I was always hungry, and I always had really strong cravings for my favorite foods such as chocolate and red wine and pasta and bread and all those things. And there's nothing wrong with those foods, but you and I both know that strong cravings don't actually feel good. Like they feel crappy, you know? Like you want to enjoy food without necessarily having this huge, strong urge to eat it. I'll never forget when I was in college with UC Berkeley, I was sitting in my Spanish 4 class. I minored in Spanish. And all I could think about, I was on Weight Watchers at the time, and I was totally over-exercised. I shouldn't say I was over-exercising, but I would bike to and from school. I would do the kickboxing classes. I was committed to losing this weight, right? Thinking exercise was the key. And then freaking Weight Watchers, don't even get me started. So I was basically sitting in class starving, and all I could think about was the carrot cake that they sold at the campus cafe. Like, I don't even know what my professor was talking about that day. It didn't even matter because all I could think about was carrot cake. That's what I'm talking about. Right? I'm talking about that kind of fixation on food that is distracting. It's distracting from our lives. It's not how we want to be spending our precious mental real estate. So when I talk about how I teach women how to stop overeating by reducing their hunger and reducing their desire for food, and learning how to stop emotional overeating. All of those things are true. It would make sense that somebody might call me a weight loss coach, but the truth of the matter is I don't use typical weight loss methods, right? And that's what I wanted to share with you today is how do we actually do what we do in my program? How do my clients get the results that they get? How have I gotten the results that I've gotten over these years, right? Of losing unwanted weight, but more importantly, not suffering from really strong desire and over hunger, not allowing myself to emotionally overeat, but not stopping myself using willpower or restriction or deprivation or anything like that. I'm going to share with you today the actual tools that we use. And the way that I'm going to do this is by going through, not necessarily step by step, but I'm going to give you an overview of what we did today in day one of my Stop Overeating program, so that you can really get a sense of like, what is this? What is this about? This crazy, what is this spooky, witchcraft that Leah is claiming? It's not witchcraft, I promise. Oh, maybe a little bit. So just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. So let me take you through the first day of the Stop Overeating program. And then I want you to know that I will be running Stop Overeating, which is my 6-week online coaching program where you get to work directly with me. I'll be running my next one in January. So if you want in on this, make sure you head over to leahpinelli.com and check it out. Sign up to chat with me on a call, or you can sign up directly on the website. Okay, let's get started. By the way, you can go to leahpinelli.com, or you can go to thelifeyoucrave.org to be directed to the website as well. Okay, let's talk about it. So the very first thing that we do when I have women come together who want to stop overeating is we focus well, first I share my story, right? And I'm not going to go all into the details. I've done a bit of that already. You can actually hear my entire story with pictures and all on my Instagram. I have a highlight called My Story. You can go check that out. But I share a little bit about my story. And the reason I do that is because I really want women to know that I have struggled. I have done every single freaking diet in the book, right? And I knew how to lose weight. I could lose weight like a pro. I just couldn't keep it off, right? Because it was unsustainable, and it was restriction-based and deprivation-based. And if you know me, you know I like to have fun. I don't want to live like that. I love joy and pleasure and indulgence. I love all the things. I love my little luxy life over here, right? I'm not trying to sit here and eat, a turkey sandwich with no mayonnaise on it. Come on, right? So I share a little bit about my story and how I released 30 pounds of unwanted weight by learning how to stop overeating in the first place. Then what I do is I ask my clients, I ask these women in the Stop Overeating program, let's take a minute to just reflect that it's 6 weeks from now. And you can do this right now. Pretend like you're in my program with me, okay? Do this. It's so worth it. Ask yourself, what do I hope to gain 6 weeks from now? What am I really hoping to walk away from this program in 6 weeks? And for those of you who aren't in my 6-week program, you can ask yourself the same dang question. What do I want 6 weeks from now? Maybe I should go sign up for Stop Overeating with Leah, right? But what do you want from the program? And it was so fascinating because, yes, of course, sometimes women will say, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to, obviously learn how to stop overeating. I want to stop emotional eating. They say all of these things. But so frequently, the word that came up today, and it comes up every single time I run this course, freedom. I just want to be free from the ball and chain of thinking about food and eating food when I'm not really hungry, or kind of constantly feeling like I have to worry about, am I going to have enough? Or did I eat the wrong things? Are my pants going to fit tomorrow? They just want freedom from that place. So that's the first question that I ask, and I ask it to you. Next is I share with them an overview of the program, right? What they can kind of expect week to week. Because of course, in the Stop Overeating program, there's lots of tactical stuff, right? I am teaching the psychology of overeating, what's actually happening in your brain psychologically when we are driven to overeat, what's happening neurologically in your brain, right? What's happening with the dopamine, the serotonin, and all that really fun stuff to kind of get into. And we don't get into it super deep, but just enough so that we actually have a working understanding of what happens when we eat this food versus that food, right? Keeping it simple, but really, 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 really powerful. We get into hormonal reasons for overeating, and then we even touch on some cultural stuff, right? Cultural reasons that we overeat. So we get into the nitty gritty, and then I have tools for how you actually can counter that, right? So what do you do if you're psychologically driven to overeat, right? I teach the tools for how to overcome that in the first place. But, and this is a huge but, you guys, before we even go there, it doesn't freaking matter, because you have to understand the actual system of transformation. What are you talking about, Leah? Here's what I'm talking about. The system of transformation. There is a method, a system of transformation that you can learn and follow in order to transform your life into the life that you crave, right? The system of transformation is the same for anything. And I teach it. I have created my own system of transformation, but it is based on, ancient wisdom combined with contemporary science. My system is called the Level Up system. And in that system of transformation, the thing that you have to understand is the very first step is vision. The very first step in the system of transformation, whether you want to transform your relationship with food, your relationship with your husband, your wife, or your girlfriend, or whoever it is, your relationship with time, your relationship with money, your relationship with your career, whatever it is that you want to transform, you have to start with vision. Now, I didn't make this up, right? I mean, this is so well established in the literature. And there's a lot of reasons for it that I'm not going to go into, that I've talked about in past episodes. But that is the very first place that I start with my clients, because it's foundational to every single transformation that we ever want to make in our lives. Our brains think in images, right? Our brains think in images. So like my mentor always says, if I say the word door to you, you're going to think of your front door. If I say, car or red car, you're going to picture a red car. You're not picturing the words red car. You're actually just picturing a red car. Now, I do want to acknowledge that some people's brains don't work exactly that way, but it's an exception to the rule. So why is this important? This is important because when you have a vision to guide you forward, you have a North Star, a guiding light. You have something more than, I have to count these calories or these points or whatever. You actually have this exciting, beautiful vision of yourself, and not just a skinny you or whatever it is that you want. And it's not about that. I mean, it could be, that might be part of it, but it's like your entire sense of vitality. Like, what do you want your health story to be 3 years from now? Right? I know for me, I'll be 48. I want to be toned. I don't want to be all flabby 48-year-old, right? Like, that's just me, right? I want to have strong arms and strong legs and strong core. I want to have a strong back. I want to feel strong and fit. I want to be cardiovascularly fit, right? I want to be able to go for long walks and go for hikes and feel my gluteus maximus working. It's my favorite muscle. If you don't know, it's your big old butt muscle. But you know what I mean? Like, I want to be eating really vibrant foods. I want to be eating really, really healthy foods. I want to have a really healthy relationship with alcohol and wine. I don't want to be over drinking. I don't want to have hangovers. I don't want to have migraines. So the point is that you get a really clear vision of what it is that you want for yourself, for your health, for your vitality 3 years from now. And I take my clients through that process. We do an actual, what is called the TLYC toolkit, which is like an inventory of your life as it currently is, to help you establish, okay, where am I now and where am I trying to go, so that we can really look at the gap. Where's the gap? What's going on with the gap? How do we traverse the gap? And then that's the work that we actually do together, is we map out a plan to get you through the gap, so that this vision that you have for yourself and your health and your marriage and your vitality, your money and your time, all of these things, the vision that you have, you actually have a pathway to get there. You have a pathway to get there. And that is what I take my clients through. We do all of this. I'm asking questions like, how is your relationship with food or weight impacting your relationships? Ask yourself that question right now. How is your relationship with your body and with food impacting your relationship with your kids, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your friends, your social life? How is it impacting your career, right? Think about, are you standing up, getting up and in front of audiences, getting up in front of at meetings to share your contribution? Or are you hiding? Are you hiding behind the podium? Are you hiding behind your kids in your photos? So really asking yourself, how does my relationship with food and weight impact all of these other areas of my life? To really get a sense of, this is important. It is so freaking important to feel good in your skin, not for vanity purposes, although that too, no shame. No shame, sister. No shame. But even more than vanity, right? It's your livelihood. It's your career. It makes a difference, right? I mean, it just makes a difference. There's no two ways about it. So we get really deep around that idea of, how does my relationship with food and weight impact all of these other areas of my life? I always say food is a proxy, right? It's not the thing. It's the thing that's hiding the thing, or the things, plural. And then we get to the really juicy. And this is the part where I have my clients write out a vision for themselves 3 years from now. Now, you might be wondering why I do 3 years from now. I learned this from my mentor, Felicia Searcy, who's a master at this. But the idea is that 1 year from now, people kind of get caught up in like, is it really something that I could achieve in 1 year, et cetera, et cetera. 5 years often seems like so far that you can't even quite picture it. Like when you think about yourself 5 years ago, you're probably pretty different. But 3 years, it kind of like short circuits that, monitoring, that self-conscious monitoring, and allows you to really dive into a vision for yourself, for your health 3 years from now. Now, with my long-term clients, my year-long clients, we actually craft a vision for all 5 areas of your life, right? Your health, your vocation, your relationships, your time, and your money. But for my 6-week program, Stop Overeating, we do our vision in depth. They have an opportunity to craft their entire vision, but we focus on the health aspect of the vision. And really getting a sense of not necessarily what do you want to weigh, although that may factor in for some people, but more importantly, how do you want to feel 3 years from now? What do you want your body to be able to do 3 years from now? And how do you want to feel in your clothes? How do you want to feel in front of an audience? How do you want to feel in your bathing suit? That's what we were just talking about. How do you want to feel when you put on your bathing suit, when you're going on, one of my clients is going on she and her husband are celebrating their, 25-year anniversary in Mexico. And she's like, I want to feel good in my bathing suit. Right? And so really imagining what that would feel like 3 years from now. So now, why do we do this? Why do we do this? Because the vision is step number one. Like I said, it is foundational. You can lose weight without a vision, right? You can change your habits without a vision. Totally. Like, go for it. But if you really wanted to stick, and this is what one of my clients shared today in the group, it's so much more fun to do it because you're inspired by yourself. You're inspired by your potential to be someone new and to be someone different, not just with food, but your entire lifestyle, right? Like, imagine how you would feel walking on the beach in Mexico, not even consciously monitoring your body, but instead actually enjoying the dang beach, right? Enjoying the people that you're with, enjoying your vacation, and not being self-conscious in your body. Imagine what that would feel like. And isn't it so much more fun to play with vision using your imagination, the faculty of imagination? Isn't it so much more fun to do that than to focus on calories and carbs? Now, I know you're probably thinking like, yeah, but Leah, like, having a vision isn't going to get me the results that I want. You're absolutely right. Having a vision without the rest of the steps in the level up system, you're absolutely right. It's not going to get you anywhere, but that's just a dream. You have to actually take action on your vision, which is step number 3, visionary action. And you have to change your narrative, step number 2. And that's the really meaty work that we get into, right? And what I mean by change your narrative is you have to actually change what you're believing, what you're telling yourself is possible for you. You have to change your thoughts about food. You have to change your thoughts about comfort. You have to change your thoughts about yourself, your identity, who you are, who you've been with food, right? I used to always identify as somebody who struggled with food. Not anymore. I don't struggle with food. right? It's a totally different identity. One that I had to practice, that I had to try on. I think about it like being a college student. And if you know me, you know that I basically was a high school dropout. And I had to learn how to go to school in community college. I had to learn how to study. I didn't do any of that in high school. I was a wild child. But when I figured out I really want to get a college degree, I don't want to just have these low-paying jobs for the rest of my life. I had to study how other people did it. I was watching classmates. I was watching people and how they did it. But not only was I watching, I was putting on the identity of being an A student. I wasn't an A student. I was doing horribly. But I had to pretend with the faculty of my imagination that I was an A student in order to take actions that an A student takes. And when I started telling myself, I can do this, I am worthy, I am smart, I can learn, right? I might not know it now, but I can learn it. That was a huge one for me, right? I might not be smart now, but I can become smart if I just keep showing up to class and reading the textbooks. I can do this, right? That narrative was my new narrative. That was not my narrative when I started. My narrative when I started was, oh my God, what the F is wrong with me? I am seriously behind everybody. This is so humiliating. This is so embarrassing, right? Like, I'm such an F up, which people actually told me directly to my face, right? Like, I had all of this evidence to show that I was not a good student. And I had to put on the identity of good students in order to become a good student. And I did, by the way, y'all. I graduated magna cum laude from University of California at Berkeley. And I graduated with all A's from Stanford in my master's program. So just goes to show you that you really, really can assume a brand new identity. You can go from F up to, magna cum laude, wearing the robes and the ropes around your neck at graduation. You can make that transformation, but you have to, first of all, decide, and then you have to actually practice putting it on. And then the actions will follow. So you see, I didn't become an A student at the top schools in our country by just imagining that I was an A student. I imagined that I was an A student so that I would start thinking like an A student. And then when I started thinking like an A student, I started taking actions like an A student. What does an A student do? She freaking studies. She shows up to class. She finds like-minded friends. I actually credit my social group in community college for getting me to be as successful as I was academically, right? But I figured it out. I'm like, ooh, smart people hang out together, right? Like, they're not hanging out with these losers over here. I love my losers, I was part of the crew. I was a loser with them, but I was ready to transition. So that is how we start this work. Now, of course, as we get further into the Stop Overeating Master Class, it's a 6-week program. Next week, we're getting into the nitty-gritty, like I said, of the psychological reasons you're overeating and how to undo that, and the neurological reasons you're overeating and how to short circuit that. We are totally getting into that. It's just that that's the education required to help you understand the actions that you're taking, but it has nothing to do with your identity. You have to start with your identity. You have to start with your vision. You have to start with the decision, right, to become someone new. And then once you decided, you're like, okay, now teach me. I'm ready to go. Oh, okay, now I understand the psychology, the neuroscience, the hormonal issues. Now I'm getting it. Now I'm putting it all together. Okay, so now with my new identity and this new and easy to digest information that is science-based, non-controversial, like we're not eliminating any major food groups here, nothing like that's happening. When you have those two pieces together, boom, it is rocket fuel. It is rocket fuel on your transformation, whether it's your physical transformation, your life transformation, it is rocket fuel on your transformation. So thanks, you guys, for listening today and letting me share with you. This is my passion. This is what I love. This is what I love. Is I love helping women crack open their lives through the power of changing their relationship with food and really, really reinvent themselves into the badasses that they were really meant to be. And sitting around counting calories and carbs is not it. is not it. Okay, so you guys, am I going to see you at the TLYC Social Club and Masterclass on December 14th? I hope so. If you're listening to this after December 14th, we host one every month. You can sign up at leahpinelli.com //TLYC social, or you can go to thelifeyoucrave.org and you can sign up there. Okay, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. I can't wait to see you all next week. Ciao.
You've been listening to The Life You Crave. I lost 30 pounds years ago without dieting, willpower, or deprivation. I'm on a mission to help other women, including you, do the same. You can book a free weight loss strategy session with me over at leahpinelli.com. That's LIAPINELLI.com. See you on our next call or on the next episode. And remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on iTunes.